Worked answers for the calculations based on balanced equations. So the first question was, what mass of water is produced when 160 grams of methane burns completely in air? The first thing you want to do is, in your jotter, is copy down that equation one more time. Then what we're doing is looking at the question and trying to figure out what we've actually to do. So it says, what mass of water is produced? So we put a question mark underneath the mass of the water. And it says when 160 grams of methane burns. So we've got mass equals 160 grams. We don't have anything about the oxygen, so we don't need it. And we don't have anything from the carbon dioxide, so get rid. So we only need to know the mass of methane to find the mass of water. Now, you need to ask yourself the question, how many moles is 160 grams of methane? Because remember that the equations are linked by a molar ratio. There is 1 mole of methane here reacts to form 2 moles of methane here. So if we know that we had 1 mole, we would know we've got 2 moles. Or if we had 2 moles of this here, we would then have 4 moles of the water. So we need to know how many moles do we actually have. So that's the first step. Now, we know by using our triangle that number of moles is equal to mass over gram formula mass. So if we want to find out the number of moles is going to be equal to mass over gram formula mass. You can always work out the gram formula mass because you've got the formula. So therefore, CH4, you do this, 4 times 1, got the number from the data booklet, and this one 1 times 16, again from the data booklet, and that's 4. Whoop, sorry, wait a minute. Maybe you noticed my mistake there. Carbon hasn't got a mass of 16. What am I thinking about? It's actually got a mass of 12. So that's 12. So if you add them two together, you get 16. So the gram formula mass is 16. The G comes from the question. So we've got 160 grams. So therefore, we've got number of moles is equal to mass over gram formula mass, which is going to be 160 divided by 16, which gives us 10 moles. Now, as we can see in this equation here, we have got 1 mole of methane makes 2 moles of water. So we write down that conditional statement. 1 mole of methane, or CH4 because it's easier to write, changes into 2 moles of water. So therefore, if we had 10 moles, which we actually do have, then it's going to produce 20 moles of water. Now, if we only knew what 1 mole of water was, we could just simply times it by 20 and we'd get our answer. Well, you can find out what 1 mole of water is because that's the gram formula mass. So it's going to be 1 times 16 and 2 times 1. And you work them out, so that's 16 and that's going to be 2. So you add them together, that's 18. So 1 mole is the gram formula mass in grams. So 1 mole equals 18 grams. So if 1 mole is 18 grams, then 20 moles is equal to 18 times 20, which is 360 grams. So 360 grams is your answer. The next question says, calculate the mass of carbon dioxide produced when 5 grams of calcium carbonate reacts with excess of dilute hydrochloric acid. So again, you would write down this equation in your jotter, and you'd put the information that you're trying to find out and what you've got to work with. So it says calculate the mass of carbon dioxide produced. So there's your carbon dioxide, so we need to calculate that. So let's find out how much carbon dioxide we're going to make when 5 grams of calcium carbonate reacts. So that's going to be 5 grams there. And it says reacts with excess dilute hydrochloric acid. Well, if something's in excess, then you can just get rid of it. We're not interested in that, and we're not interested in that, right? We're only interested in 5 grams given us a certain amount of carbon dioxide, right? Again, we want to find out how many moles is 5 grams. So number of moles is equal to mass over gram formula mass. Again, we can always work out the gram formula mass by doing, by working it out just like so. So that's going to be 3 times 16, which is equal to 48. 1 times 12, which is 12. And 1 times 40, which is 40. And if you add them all up together, you get 100. So it says we've got 5 grams. So 5 is going to be the G divided by our 100, which is our gram formula mass. And that gives us 0.05 moles. Now, if you look at the equation, it says that 1 mole of calcium carbonate changes into 1 mole of carbon dioxide. So that's nice and easy. So 1 mole of calcium carbonate, and please write out these conditional statements because they really allow you to focus your mind and to actually know what you're doing. So we've got 0.05 moles will become 0.05 moles because they're the same, 1 to 1. So if only we knew what 1 mole of carbon dioxide was, we could find out how much 0.05 moles is. Well, you guessed it, we are going to do carbon dioxide and work out its gram formula mass, which is the mass of 1 mole. So that's 2 times 16 is equal to 32. 1 times 12 is equal to 12. And that gives us 44. So if 1 mole equals 44 grams, then 0.05 moles will equal 44 times 0.05. So 44 times 0.05 is 2.2 grams. So 2.2 grams is the answer to that question.